What if I told you the educational system isn't broken? What if I told you it was built this way to keep you silent, broken, average, and always dependent? Watch this video to the end because once you see how deep this goes, you will never look at your classroom again. And at the end of this video, I will tell you one simple thing you can do to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that your parents made with you, with your children. In Africa, there are a few things that are sacred, and education is one of them. You don't need to look too hard. You don't need to look too far to see the kind of sacrifices that parents and guardians make to send their words, to send their children to school. We've been told all our lives that education is the key to poverty, but just look around you. Take a good look around you. Despite our education, thousands of graduates are jobless. Look at Nigeria alone. According to After School Africa, over 25 million graduates are jobless. Being a PhD holder now safe doesn't even take you out of the struggle. Skilled youths are even leaving the shores of Africa to look for greener pastures. There are skills in their hands, but their pockets are empty. So ask yourself, the same way that I have been asking myself, that if education is actually the key, and if schooling was actually the way out, then why are all of us, why is a majority of Africans still looking for a way to make it? We lied to for so long and we've been told several lies. One of them is that all we need to do is memorize and not understand. Majority of our schools teach us to remember, not to think. We are trained to regurgitate answers, not to solve problems. Because let's look at it now. That's why when we enter the real life situation, when we come out of school, when we enter the real world, we can't actually solve the problems that face us. And this is evident in the fact that a student can pass an exam and still fail at life. That's the truth. Or if you don't believe me, how many first class graduates from your school, from the schools around you, do you see that are actually doing well? I'm waiting. Drop their names in the comments below. How many of them, those of like the bookworms, there are a lot of them that are doing well. I'm not saying that education does not pay. I'm just saying that if schools actually are made to train us to think, then why are students punished for challenging their teachers? Like, not challenging their teachers in a disrespectful way, but I mean challenging ideologies. Why are they punished for challenging ideologies? Why are they punished for thinking outside of the box? Imagine in an educational system that's supposed to make people brighter. After an exam, they will sort out people like cattle and put the ones that are doing well in one class, then put the ones that are not doing so well in another class, so that the ones that are bright will get brighter and the ones that are dull will get duller. And the ones that are dull will get duller. Or haven't you heard that iron sharpens iron? So how will the people that are dull, who will not challenge them? Who will not challenge them? And when you look at this thing, you actually see that in such circumstances, when they are like there are not a lot of teachers or their resources are scarce, they will actually pack all the resources that they have and give it to the students that they feel are doing well and leave the ones that are not doing well without anything. So maybe there's only one maths teacher, the maths teacher will focus all their attention on the ones that are doing well, and the ones that are not doing well, they'll tell them to go and get the notes from maybe the science class or the brilliant ones and copy the notes. So the teachers are not even like teaching them, they're not even working them to make them better. They're actually even making them duller. It's not funny, but it's funny. So how do we call that education? That's not education. That's some kind of, I don't know. That's some kind of, I don't know, indoctrination, because our children cannot even express their creativity. They are being conformed and forced to shape into a particular mode. They are being conformed to a particular prototype. Now, ask yourself this question, just the same way that I asked myself this question. How can your child now learn what they love and what they don't like? How can they now distinguish between what they like and what they don't like? How can they learn What sets them apart? How can they think outside the box? How can they become more creative? We treat our children like animals, yet we now start complaining later on that they don't think outside the box. We start complaining that they're acting too much like their mates. We start complaining that they are not different. How do you want them to be different? When they've stolen the ability for them to think for themselves from when they were young. You know another lie? Another lie that they've used to rig the African educational system so that you keep failing. They made us believe that obedience equals intelligence. Look at it. In schools, the obedient one is actually the teacher's pet. Another there's anything wrong with that again. It's just that they make it look like okay, the obedient one is the best student, the quiet one who never causes any problem, who never asks any questions, who never disrupts the peace is the best student. But that is not the way it happens in real life. In real life, the reverse is the case because the leaders are the ones who question everything. They keep saying, oh, Africans, we're very understanding. We don't question our leaders. Hello, what do you expect? When we've been trained from our school days not to ask questions. When we've been trained to obey and not to lead, then you keep asking, why are we always being led astray? Well, we're always being led astray because when we were young, when we were in school, we were trained not to ask questions. We were trained not to ask and question our leaders. We were trained not to question those like question authority because when you question authority you are rude. When you question authority you're disrespectful. When you question authority you are the stubborn child. As a child your creativity was called distraction, your questions were called disrespect, and your silence was rewarded. Okay, let's look at this example. Imagine that there are two children, and I'm not saying that we should allow our children to not be cultured or act proper, prim and proper, but just imagine where a child is expressing themselves. Imagine two children, one of them is expressing themselves, asking questions, pointing at things, just sharing their thoughts and all. And then there's another child that is quiet, that is prim, that is proper, that doesn't say anything, that says the perfect yes and thank yous. And then when they ask the child, are you okay? Maybe the child is not even okay. Maybe the child is hungry, the child will say yes. What do? They start telling the other one that is asking questions, the one that is figuring out their environment, the one that is trying to understand the society they find themselves. They start telling that child, can't you see this? Can't you see your friend? Can't you see your cousin? Can't you see your sister? What do you think you're doing to that child? And again, like I said, I'm not trying to say that we should make our children, we should train our children not to be disciplined. I'm saying don't stifle their creativity. Allow your children to ask questions. Allow your children to express themselves. Because guess what? The way you're training them, the things you're doing, the way you're silencing their voice, you are training an adult that is going to be stepped upon. In an adult that is about to be bullied, if not bullied by their immediate peers, bullied by the society that they find themselves in. Look at yourself. Do you remember being told by your parents to stop chasing the creative things that made you happy? Do you remember them telling you to focus on your studies? For some of us, it was singing. For some, it was acting. For some, it was painting. For some, it was football. For some, different things, different hobbies. But what did our parents do? Our parents told us that we should leave those things that helped us to express ourselves, that helped us to find ourselves, and focus on our education. Third lie is that good grades equal good lives. Do I need to explain this one? I don't think I need to explain it because it's quite self-explanatory. How many first-class graduates are looking for food today? How many of them are still struggling? Good grades are good, yes, but good grades measure memory and not value. And in the real world, value is everything. Talking about this just reminded me of when I was in school. There was a girl in school, that girl can cram. Like, those students that, if they say there are three things, like, there are three words that you have to mention in a definition, and then you just understand it. You're just going to explain, you're going to define it the way you understand. It's like you're explaining it back to the teacher. But you see that girl, what's everything verbatim from the textbook. I don't know how she did it. And funny enough, after a while, I realized that wow, this is the way we pass. I realized this is the way we pass. So guess who started cramming? Guess who started learning how to use the words, how to write those words verbatim, like word for word, I for I, T for T, everything. They cross the T, I cross the T. They dot the I dot the I. Because who doesn't want to pass? But does it mean that I've learned what I've been taught? No, does it mean that I can actually give value with what I was taught? Heck, nah. Does it? Because let me tell you, the market does not care if you had an A in economy. The world cares if you can actually do the thing that makes an economist an economist. Like, can you perform the duties that makes an economist an economist? Or did you just get A for economy? Let me tell you, Africans need to wake up. Our education system has been designed for obsolete jobs. A lot of schools in Nigeria, and if it's the same thing as the schools in the African, like in your country, if you're an African, then put that in the comment section. A lot of schools in Africa, even till now, are using obsolete notes. They call them handouts. They're using obsolete handouts to teach students. A lot of the equipment, like present day equipment that are supposed to be used to teach children, they're supposed to use to educate children, to explain, concepts, theories, and other things, like for practicals, equipment that are needed for practicals. They don't have it. The things that are practicals that they're supposed to, the students are supposed to go to the labs, they're supposed to go to the farms, they're supposed to go to, see these things and work these machines. They don't have it. What they keep doing even till now is word of mouth. And even the word of mouth, even the handouts that are being used, a lot of lecturers have not updated their handouts for several years. You'll find that sometimes the textbook that your elder brother used while they were in school is still the same textbook that you use. And if they've added anything, it's nothing significant. So in schools, students are not taught how to use emails. They're not taught how to how to prepare spreadsheets. They're not taught how to pitch ideas. They're not taught anything. Like, they're not equipped for the society, and that's why when a lot of students come out of school, they're just wandering aimlessly like headless chickens. They're just wandering aimlessly like headless chickens, because, and I don't blame them. And you can't either, because they were not taught, they were not equipped to do the things that they're supposed to do when they come out of school. I remember telling a friend recently that if I knew the things that I know now, my life would have been significantly different, because money making hobbies that I had when I was growing up were snuffed out of me. And my parents, my elder ones, did not know any better, but now you do. Not just for your children, not just for your unborn generation, but for yourself as well. Because we're in a digital world, but we are still being trained for the colonial office job, and that's not by accident. So now that we've established how our education system was rigged, let's go deeper. Because to fix this problem, we have to understand why this system was created in the first place. It wasn't to keep you wealthy. No, education was not to keep you wealthy. It was to make you obedient. The original purpose of colonial education in Africa was not to train thinkers, but to train workers. Yes. We inherited a system meant to train clerks, not creators, and followers, not founders. But you know the problem? Africa has refused to change it. Africa has refused to change the system, despite the fact that we have the power and the ability to now. We're still living in the past, and we refuse to bring ourselves to the future. It's like we're still in shackles, right? It's like we're still in shackles, and though we've been given our freedom, we refuse to be free. Have you ever noticed that the elites don't put their children in the same schools as we do? They always put their children in other schools like Montessori's, in tech labs, in schools that offer international curriculums and offer subjects that make their children to think critically. If the system is so great, ask yourself this. If the system is so great, then why don't the rich use it? Why don't they use the same system as the masses do? And even when they use the same system, they make sure that they expose their children to expensive hobbies like painting, like learning musical instruments, or they take them to exotic places to expose their minds and their thinking because they know they can see the trap and they are stepped right. And every day they keep stepping right. It's just me and you that we refuse to see the trap, and so we are walking right into it. You spent a whole 12 years in school and 4 years in the university. Let me ask you a question. How many of those years taught you how to sell, how to manage money, how to negotiate, how to think outside the box, how to build businesses, or how to truly create? It's high time we realize that we're producing graduates who know how to do everything but how to survive. They know how to do everything. They know how to solve all the problems. And when I say problems, I mean theoretical problems. But they don't know how to survive. And that's why in your 20s, in your 30s, you still feel stuck. Heck, for some of us in our 40s, we still feel stuck because the system didn't prepare you to win. It prepared you to obey. It prepared you to keep following a particular the line, to keep following a particular trajectory and not to veer off course. Because when you veer off course, when you think outside of the box, when you try to live in a way that is not the norm, you start hearing things like you're wasting your life. Have you're wasting your life and other things. If you know more of those things they tell you when you refuse to follow the norm, just drop it in the comment section below. And that is why in your 20s and for some people in their 30s, they don't still know what they want to do with their life. And even if they do, they don't know how to get there because everything about their life from A to Z has already been arranged and fixed. And thinking out of the box is actually an anomaly. It feels so difficult sometimes. You forget about your dreams and focus on other things. For some people that had dreams that are outside of their 9 to 5, they forget about it and focus solely on their 9 to 5. And for some people who their dreams is actually to excel in their 9 to 5, it becomes so difficult that they forget about it. They just decide that, you know what, this salary that I'm earning is enough for me. Let me just leave it like that. Who wants to even become CEO? Who wants to even become a director? Let me just remain in my level and keep earning my small, small chicken change. At least I can eat and I can wear fine clothes. But that is not enough. Because what is more expensive than school fees? If you know the answer, riddle me this. What is more expensive than school fees? If you know the answer, drop it in the comment section. But I'll tell you for free. Wasted years. Imagine if you've spent all those years learning a high income skill, building a personal brand, starting a business, or mastering a digital skill, or maybe even learning a trade like our Igbo brothers do. School may be expensive, but ignorance, it's actually bankrupting our entire generations. But let me be clear, I am not against education. I am not against learning. I am against limiting our potential and our value because the truth is that there's a difference between schooling and education. Schooling teaches you what to think, but education teaches you how to think. Through education, it's what you pursue after school. It's what you pursue during school. It's what you pursue all your life. And when they say that education never ends, they don't mean schooling never ends. Like you don't mean, okay, go to do your masters, then you do another masters, then you do another masters. No, it means that learning continues. That is true education. But let me tell you, don't let school fail you before you start getting educated. Start now. And even if you feel like you've been let down by your certificate, it's not too late for you. Do you know that a lot of students are not even in school studying what they know? They're not even in school studying what they want to study. They're in school studying what their uncles told them to study, their aunties or their parents, those people paying their fees, their benefactors told them to study. They're studying things, courses that their relatives feel is best for them. Then when they come out of school, they end up pursuing careers that they hate. And then they end up living miserable lives. Today, After watching this video, you must decide to become your own teacher. Learn from books, courses, mentors, from life experience. Design your own curriculum because your life and your future is solely in your hands. Now, here's what you as an African in today's society need to succeed. You need entrepreneurial skills, financial literacy, digital skills, emotional intelligence, communication skills, storytelling, leadership, and even negotiation. Because the future of Africa, of where Africa is going to, of where the world is going to, belongs to those who learn what the schools forgot to teach. And as I've shown you, the world has changed, but our schools in Africa hasn't. And now we have to choose for ourselves. We not only have to choose for ourselves, we also have to choose for our children. So today, I'm here to encourage you. If you've been feeling stuck, if you've been wondering why nothing is working, it's not because you're dumb. It's because the system has failed you. It is time to unlearn. Today, decide that you're going to learn something different. If you're like some of us that we don't know what we like, then try to learn what you don't like. How do you do that? Learn something, pick up something, take a few courses, take a few classes, try something new for a few, maybe a month, or a month is even too long. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you already know that, man, I don't like this thing, I can't do it. By the time you try one, two, three, you begin to notice that, okay, I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like tailoring, but I like makeup. Oh, I didn't like makeup, but I like teaching. Oh, I don't like teaching, but I like so and so. Do you understand? Oh, I like what now? Creative writing, something like that. So by learning the things that you don't like, you get to stumble into the things that you like. And even if you don't want to do this for yourself, then do it for your children. Change the game for your children. Take them to school, yes, but expose their minds. Allow them to pursue hobbies during breaks. And don't lock them reading their textbook from dusk to dawn. Don't lock them in their rooms reading textbook from when they are 1 year old to when they are 25. You say, Abba. You said, have mercy. Like, I can't really understand how parents do this thing. Your children go to school, they wake up early, they go to school from 7 a.m. After school, they have after school lessons till 4 p.m. They come back by 4 p.m. Lesson teacher comes by 6 p.m. and leave by 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. and leave by 7 p.m. Haba. Then during holidays when they're supposed to relax, enjoy, go to amusement parks, watch movies, read novels, play jigsaw puzzles, crossword puzzles, and all those kind of things, you now still bring lesson teacher again to teach them from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. What is it? You want to blow their brain? Do you want to blow their brain? Allow your children to explore because guess what? You want to build a well-rounded adult and not a robot. Yes, I'm not a robot. Like it's they wonder me. I want to even talk about it more, but I cannot because if I enter there, I will not come out. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Some people don't even allow their children to breathe. And we really don't need to go into the school curriculum of these days because sometimes when I see children, like even the ones that cannot even talk yet, like really little kids, I'm talking between 1 to 5. If you see the assignment that they're giving them with this, hey, the assignment, even when they come back, they cannot breathe. What is it? No, we really need to do better. We need to do better in Africa. And we need to do better as parents and teachers and relatives and whatever position you find yourself in a child's life, you need to do better. So please, if this video resonated with you, if this video spoke to your soul, if this video, you know, just clicked something in your brain, please send it to somebody.